Are you a school leader seeking to learn more about the strategies, supports, and best practices at some of the most effective charter schools in New York? Or a SUNY authorized charter school leader who wants to better understand SUNY's authorizing practices, processes, and policies? Well, welcome to the More Great Seats for Kids podcast. I'm your host, Mike Lazinski, Director of Communications at the SUNY Charter Schools Institute. Today, we welcome the leadership team at the Academy Charter School, including CEO and founder Bishop Barrington Goldson, Chief Academic Officer Dr. Nicholas Stapleton, Uniondale Principal Dr. Pierre Lewis, Career and Technical Education and STEM Program Coordinator Dr. Alexandria Wilhoit, and Medical Science Department Lead Dr. Jose Petit. We have a wide range of discussion on how the Academy is developing and expanding their career and technical education program to drive future college and career success for students at each of their 3 Long Island charters. Enjoy the show. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the show. This is definitely going to be an exciting episode. I usually interview people one-on-one, so this is having a whole team of people here. It's really exciting, and I'm really interested in hearing everyone's perspective on the CTE programs at the Academy and what some lessons learned may be for other public schools seeking to replicate your success.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Thank you so much for this opportunity to share our experience with CTE program. I'm Barrington Goldson, CEO and founder of the Academy Charter School. On the line with us, we have Dr. Stapleton, Dr. Pierre, Dr. Willard, and Dr. Petit. They are the brains behind this operation.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Alexandria Wilhoit. I am the CTE program coordinator, and I've been with the Academy for 3 years.
And good afternoon. My name is Dr. Pierre Lewis. I am the school principal for the Academy Uniondale CTE High School, and I've also been with the Academy for 3 years.
Hi, good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Petit. I'm the medical science department lead, and I have been with the Academy also for 3 years.
And I'm Nicholas Stapleton, Chief Academic Officer. And I've been at the Academy for a very long time, from 2009 to 2012, and from 2014 to present. So I know the Academy very well.
Great. A lot of experience. Really excited to hear from everyone. So let's start off with the easy question. Tell us about the Academy Charter Schools, your mission, and what differentiates you from other charters and district schools in Long Island.
The mission of the Academy Charter School is to create world-class scholars who will learn today, lead tomorrow, and serve in the future. We are one of 4 to 5 charter schools based on Long Island, and we are pretty much a high-performing network of schools. We opened our first school in Hempstead as a K-2 school in 2009, and that school has grown from grades K to grade 12 with approximately 1,900 students. In 2018, we opened a new school in Uniondale, K-2, but have also grown to K-12, and that school is currently enrolled about 1,500 students. And in 2022, we started Academy Charter School Wyandanch, our latest school, as a K-2 school, and currently we enroll approximately 210 students. In terms of CTE program, we are the only charter school on Long Island who offers that program. And across New York State, we're one of the few charter schools that has a CTE program. Moreover, as you know, the traditional school districts here on Long Island, they partner with the BOCES for CTE coursework. But the Academy have bravely decided that, and based on Bishop Goldson's vision and concerns from the community, that our charter school, Academy Uniondale, need at the high school level, needed to incorporate the CTE coursework at that particular location. Bishop Goldson, could you add for us in terms of your vision for the CTE program?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Stapleton, and thank you, Dr. Pierre, Dr. Petit, Dr. Willard, and thanks to CSI for allowing this podcast. Literally speaking, as the school expanded in Hempstead and we were geared towards academic performance, we figured we needed to offer to these scholars the opportunity for some technical training. We're not trying to replace career college preparation as a focus of the school. We're just adding career preparation as an addition to it. So the CTE program, led now by Dr. Pierre, is geared towards college preparation as well as career preparation. And we're still following that 4+1 model for graduation, where students are required to have 4 reading subjects plus 1. CTE being one option that they can opt for.
So as it relates to the void that we filled here as one of the only CTE charter schools in the region of Long Island and furthermore for the state of New York, I think the vision of Bishop Goldson is quite visionary in the fact that he's way ahead of the curve in identifying the need to invest his energies and resources towards filling that goal. What makes us different as a charter school outside of the CTE program is the fact that the majority of the public schools in our district funnel their students to BOCES in order to receive technical education services, whereas our school is all service one stop. They get their core academic subjects as well as our CTE program, and we offer a robust menu of choices that they are exposed to in their freshman year, and they take exploratory courses that allow them to make a educated decision about which pathway they want to invest their energies in as they enter into the 10th grade until they graduate from high school with their advanced regions.
That's great. So can you describe the process for how you're developing each of these CTE programs?
Okay, so typically in the development of CTE programs, one must look at the data from the U.S. Department of Labor and Statistics, where we look at the trend of where the industries are going and which industry has the highest demand in occupations. What we did in preparation for our CTE program is look at not only at the local job market, but what the Department of Labor has looked at both regionally and nationally in terms of the trends towards occupations that are centered in STEM. As you know, our country has made a tremendous amount of investments in closing the achievement gap for this nation with developing a workforce that's competent in STEM. Every year, over 3.2 million jobs go unfilled in STEM-related occupations. So what Bishop Goldson had the vision to do with pursuing adding CTE as an option for the Academy Charter Network is basically adding on pathways that would allow our students to become competitive in the job market so that when they graduate high school, whether they decide to go immediately into college to pursue their post-secondary studies, that they can also opt to go into the workforce or choose to do both, work while they go to college and earn a competitive wage while they're pursuing their college education.
I will add one other component to that. Dr. Stephen and myself, plus Mr. Horton at the school here, we did go to the BOCES and we looked at the programs that they offered. And when we looked at the cost for them to do the programs and the travel time was wasted, we thought it was best to do this in-house. It's more cost effective, less time is spent with the kids traveling back and forth. And we didn't want to delegate the instructional piece outside because we believe if we have some staff on board that buys into the vision, what we're doing, we get a better output. It's really a mission to do this career preparation. And in addition to the data study, we had put together an advisory board made up of local business people and architects, engineers, doctors, nurses from the community, a separate board that helped advise us as to what courses we should consider.
So how are you finding those advisors and instructors and bringing them in?
Well, our secret sauce is Dr. Pierre. Dr. Pierre want to talk about the recruitment for the staff and the credentials that go along with that.
So normally what we do is, as an active member of the ACTE organization, which is the leading authority in technical education in this country, basically network with other CTE professionals on whether or not they would be interested in playing an active part as a member of our advisory board, and also just utilizing individual professional networks, reaching out to individuals that we've met throughout our careers as educators. We've been fortunate to have a very close-knit school community where we have professional parents that are in the industries that we have our CTE pathways. So we've been very fortunate to have, for our medical program, for instance, we've had 2 of our parents that have been nurse practitioners who have religiously committed to serving on our advisory council. We've had individuals who are professionals in the organization who's also served in a capacity for our information technology program. So we use our social capital through the people that are in our immediate network, as well as sourcing through them, through their own personal network, individuals that they believe may be interested in serving the mission that we are pursuing. So that is how we've been able to devise our advisory council, and also through the development of our CTE program when we were reaching out for articulation agreements, primarily with SUNY. We were able to acquaint ourselves with professors at Farmingdale State College, where we also have members from that college that serve as members of our advisory council. So we've been very fortunate in that, right?
That's great. So how are you going about establishing a curricula that aligns with all these various industry standards for each of these programs?
Before Dr. Pierre takes a bite of that, I want to add to making sure that in addition to the CTE program, the rigor for the core subjects is still built into our programs. We offer AP literature, AP history, AP biology, AP calculus. And so we're not minimizing the core subjects or reducing the rigor of it. So the curriculum is driven by the national standards. Dr. Pierre, you can join in.
And also to add to that, what I believe that makes our CTE program unique is the amount of research that has gone into developing the curriculum. As you're well aware, there is a proficiency gap in terms of STEM literacy in general for the nation. And because we are answering the call to close that gap, particularly to the demographic of students that we serve, who are largely underrepresented in STEM industries, we found it very important to close the proficiency gaps in STEM-related subjects such as science and math and engineering and so forth, because we believe it's interconnected. So through that research, we've infused a huge degree of STEM literacy into all of our curriculums, whether it's through our culinary arts division, through our business management program, or even through our aviation and our drone programs and medical science. Everything has a lens through which the basic skills that students will need to have the competency to go to college and pursue those majors, which are tied into the STEM occupations, that they will have the confidence to move forward, knowing that they have the foundational knowledge to be successful as students once they pursue their post-secondary studies. So everything that we do is grounded in that, building their confidence and knowing that they have the basic skills that they need to be successful beyond high school, so that if they do decide to pursue those career pathways, that they know that they have the foundational skills to be successful.
If you allow me to allow Dr. Petit just to join in and talk about the rigor of the medical program, the certifications that the students will leave with, how it can serve them if they've been on to college in the medical field or if they took a career path.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Goldson. And yes, just to add with everything that both Dr. Mr. Goldson and Dr. Pierre Lewis was talking about, when it comes to creating the syllabus, finding qualifying professional, like Dr. Goldson said, Mr. Goldson said, and Dr. Pierre Lewis, which is very important when we know the market and we've been working in the market for so long, and the experience that we have. it's easy for us to build a curriculum to fit those students, those scholars, that like for the medical assistant program, where they will learn, we know what is required to become a medical assistant. We know also the college credit that, that they will have when it comes to medical terminology, when it comes to anatomy and physiology, or the pathway that they may want to take to go in the laboratory, that they will receive credit on laboratory, EKG building, that we know the curriculum and we build the curriculum to fit them from 10th grades until 12th grades. And at the end, through the process, 11 grades, they're receiving certification, qualifying certification that they could work national rise, anywhere in the United States as a medical administrative assistant, as a medical assistant certified, as a phlebotomist certified, as an EKG technician certified, even a patient care technician certified. Those are the certification, a few of the certification that we are preparing, that we build in the curriculum to prepare those scholars to receive. Really, 18 years old, 17 years old, working in the market, making at least $25 an hour, and going to college with college credit that reduce, the amount of credit that they have to take or money that they have to pay. That is a great job that we are doing in the CTA program that we have.
I don't want to brag, but Dr. Petit is a medical doctor and the great job he's doing. But Dr. Willard, I happened to be in one of her class, and I said, "Isn't this about cooking?" She was teaching the biology of food and how food is made up. So it's not just preparing the thing; they're learning the technical aspects of the career. Sure. Dr. Petit, Dr. Willard, you want to brag about culinary art and what's happening in your area?
Yes. So I was teaching food science last year, where we have an articulation agreement, like Dr. Pierre spoke about, where students earn college credit for food science, a medical class, and business. And what that oversees is just different aspects of how and why is the way food works, the science behind it. In addition to that, in the 9th grade level, students will come in at an exploratory where they'll get to experience all the different pathways. And at the 10th grade year, they'll make the decision whether they want to pursue the culinary arts. And those classes, we teach the same quality certifications, where students will graduate with the kitchen manager certification, a CERSE certification, and a prep cook certification through our NOCTI exams. And what that does is, at the senior level, the students are 17, 18, they can go out and gain work experience with these certifications, making at least $20, $25, not only in the city of New York City, but anywhere in the world, because food is so universal. And so what we're doing is we're just preparing students with these proper certifications. That way, if they do not decide to go to college, or they do decide to go to college, they have that opportunity to make money straight out of high school and be able to balance their studies as well.
Can you brag about what our student that has won the gingerbread competition?
Yeah, so we've done precedent things with the CTE, especially with the culinary program. One of our 11th grade students just recently won with the National American Culinary Federation gingerbread competition. This is her first entry, and she won amongst 15 other schools for a bakery and pastry competition, who was led by one of my colleagues, Chef Pagano, who is also a master baker. We have a series of different competitions that the CTE program does participate within the fall and in the spring. And I've trekked so greatly. So I'm super proud of all of the pathways who've participated in some of the competitions, and we've been taking off the trophies.
I was going to tell her to brag a little bit about the student-operated cafe that we have.
Oh, now. Yes. There's just so much to brag about. We recently started this year our student cafe that was built through our academy, and now is ran by my senior class as part of a business entrepreneurship program, where teaches them how to run a front of the house business in tandem with back of the house. So what that looks like is a business class setup where each group is set up into a group of 4, and each of them has a a role where there'd be front of the house manager, back of the house manager, general manager, and a executive chef, and each of them had to come up with a business plan. And they run a business plan for at least 5 weeks, and they run sincerely like a cafe. So this past week, we ran the cafe, and students are able to raise money to utilize for senior events. So we've raised now at least, I want to say, almost $3,000 for our senior class, just by the first 2 groups. And then they receive a grade at the end of the year, and it shows them how to be able to work with each other, how to be able to be accountable, how to be able to have customer service skills. So we're teaching soft skills, and we're teaching rigor as well.
Dr. Pierre, can you zero in on the capstone project that our students have to do at the completion of the program?
So as a part of the New York State education requirements, all of our CTE students also have to submit a portfolio of the body of work respective to their pathways from the time they enter into our CTE program as freshmen throughout until their senior year. Part of this requirement is to document their academic growth, not only in the theoretical, but the practical that they've learned throughout their journey in their respective CTE programs. Most of our capstone projects are centered around real world issues that are related to the industries that correlate with each pathway. So for instance, with the medical program, when they start off as 9th graders, they evaluate the American healthcare system in comparison to other healthcare systems around the world. So not only do we introduce them to the healthcare profession, we give them the opportunity to look at it holistically as a business and an industry, and what are the pros and cons to it by comparing it, what they know of the American healthcare system to others around the world. So we try to create global citizens in the process, and everything has a social justice component. So if there is an issue that has not had an identifiable solution, we challenge our students to identify what that could look like. So we're very proud of what we do in the capstone project. So by the time they reach the 12th grade, they're thinking individuals. They're not just memorizing theory. They have the capacity to operate as critical thinkers and problem solvers. So when they go out into the world, they will become leaders that can serve in the future.
So in terms of this, I mean, obviously there's so many different opportunities that your students can kind of pursue, from the medical field to drones to culinary arts, down the line. So how are you educating them on the different options that are available so they can choose the path that's right for them?
At 9th grade becomes the introduction, and we try to kind of feel where the aptitude is, or their skill set, or the interest is at by the 10th grade. And from the 10th grade on, then we focus where they want to develop and where they want to move into.
Yeah, yes, Dr. Goldson is correct. 9th grade, this is when we do the what we call all the classes, medical exploration or culinary exploration or business exploration, where the students are exposed to different pathways in the medical fields. If we want to talk about the medical fields, career laddering that they may have. It doesn't matter if it's they exposed to the clinical portion to it, or the administrative portion to it, or the technology portion to it. And from that point, they know about the medical assistant program. They know about the culinary from 9th grade. And from that point, that they will know their interest and select one of the classes when they will continue with it from 10th grade to 12th grade.
Do you see a lot of students who change their mind at some point and want to make a switch to a different pathway?
Yes, we do offer them the opportunity within the first quarter of their 10th grade year to change their pathway. To be honest, most traditional CTE high schools, including BOCES, typically don't allow students to switch pathways because it can become an administrative nightmare if they allow to do so. But having come from that context, I wanted to give them some opportunity to exercise whether or not they want to commit themselves for the next 3 years through their academic journey to a pathway, because you want them to enjoy what they're studying. So we give them that very small window of opportunity to make the change, of course, with their parents' consent, so that they can switch over to a pathway that they think is more aligned with their academic pursuits.
So Dr. Wilhelm earlier had mentioned the articulation agreements, and obviously some partnerships need to be set up. So have you faced any sort of challenges in setting these up? And if so, like how are you overcoming that?
Because we're a charter school and there's a stigma attached to charters, and there's a feeling that we are not union represented, and everybody's a little bit cautious at first. But once we get in before the leaders and the system and begin to explain the passion and what we're doing and explain to them that a charter school is a public school and we're serving the public's interest, the people begin to back off. And we use all the influence we have to get these partnerships. We do have partnerships with colleges and with hospitals and with clinics. Allow Dr. Pierre and Dr. Petit and Dr. Willard to talk about those partnerships, where they go in, the students go in and they have these mandatory hours that they have to cover. So we are having success. In fact, we are 99% completed with a partnership with National Community Medical Center. National Medical Center. And we're looking forward to that because that's a big institution. We're working hard and also on Mount Sinai, and we're working hard on the Marriott to get some of our folks in. And so these partnerships are important because they need the practical experience while we give them the theoretical teachings.
One of the challenges we faced was that it's a pretty traditional look at who should deliver the services because, as we said before, school districts they were just partying with the bourses, and with the academy changing that narrative, people were very cautious. People were very cautious about academy's boldness, and does the academy have the capacity to get this kind of work done? But we have proved that we can, and now we're in the position that folks are approaching us and to want to get on board with us.
Again, I think, like I said, that with the vision of Bishop Goldson and the other founders and the leadership of Dr. Stapleton, that they were quite visionary in the fact that they saw a void and pursued it. Being a member of local CTE leadership committees, I can say now that other public schools are looking to no longer funnel their students to BOCES because they
it's happening. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they see how promising that CTE is. And actually, there's been legislation written around in the Congress around investing more into CTE nationally as we move forward in the upcoming decades. So we are certainly already ahead of the curve, and I'm confident that the best is yet to come. As it relates to what makes us unique in terms of moving forward strategically, is that through the partnerships that we have, and I did fail to mention that we also have our IT program, which is largely centered in robotics. And right now we have our kids building robotics as we speak, both small and mid-scale. And I'm excited to see where they're going to be now, growing as 10th graders until they reach their senior years. So we're always doing things that are on the curve with expanding their knowledge in technology as well as in engineering. And because all of that is centric to their having a keen understanding in science and math, again, it still ties back to the core academics that we are very serious about here at the Academy. And what we do to make it more of a community endeavor, we draw in the support of our parents by hosting an annual CTE STEM symposium, because there's many research data around how CTE is a wonderful vehicle for promoting STEM literacy. And we had such success with our first symposium last year, where it was based on colonizing Mars. There was so many innovative projects that our students did, where our CTE instructional team teamed up with our science and math teams, where they were able to present to the parents what they were learning in real time. And because it was so well received, we had local professors that came in and judged the competition, and they have volunteered to return this year. And this year's theme will be centered on how AI will impact all of the respective industries related to the CTE pathways that we offer.
So then you are engaging then with the families in the overall community then to kind of help kind of figure out and gather feedback and where you want to go from here?
Oh, absolutely, because it does take a village. It sounds cliche, but it's very true. It's a heavy lift to raise any scholar intellectually and socially, emotionally. So they definitely need the support of their families as well, their biological families, if you will, and their academic family. And we do so in partnership by keeping the families abreast of their academic progress. If a child starts to suffer academically, we notify parents immediately. I believe in transparency and constant communication because that helps us remain on the same page in terms of giving the scholar the support that they need in real time.
Initially, we had to break the barrier in parents' mind that the CTE program was an inferior option for education. Now, the students themselves are explaining it's very rigorous. The expectation is no less. So we constantly doing this symposium, exposure, communication to the parents to let them know we are challenging your children. We're just trying to give them not only a college option, but a career option as well.
So one of the programs I definitely wanted to highlight today was the one that's been garnering some buzz in the media a little bit is the drone and the aviation tech program. So why was it so important to develop this pathway specifically for your students, and what types of careers are they being set up for?
With the drone and aviation program, because of the fact that it's a well-established fact that the aviation industry is expecting a huge staff shortage, it was very natural that we explore how we
Dr. Pierre, I'm going to get where Uniondale School is centered. Is in the cradle of aviation.
That's true.
The advisory board felt the Wright brothers did it right where we are. We felt there's a spirit of aviation where we are. We should capitalize on that. So that was the initial thought. Then Dr. Pierre grabbed it, and you can continue.
Yeah. So that was the original inspiration. But outside of that, the data leaned us in a direction to know that it was the right thing to do. As I was saying, data shows that the aviation industry is expecting a supply and demand gap upwards to 2027. So there already is a shortage of over 10,000 pilots in the country. So it was natural that we look at how we can begin educating our scholars to entertain pursuing aviation as a career path. And quite frankly, many students, particularly students of color, don't necessarily pursue it because they don't see themselves in the industry. So early accessibility and access and exposure plays a very key part in students deciding what direction to go in vocational wise in terms of their occupation. So with the industry supply need and the demand for competent people going into the profession, we were excited to endeavor to see what that would look like in real time. And because aviation technology is ever evolving, we started looking at drone technology because that is a very fast growing business sector. Many of our corporate 500 companies are making huge investments in drones in terms of logistical delivery services. Even Amazon has threw in their hat and making investments around that. So we started looking at how we can infuse that. And through that, we partnered with USI, which is the Unmanned Safety Institute, where we were able to leverage a relationship with them to have licensed drone pilots dial in remotely to teach our students via Zoom. And we already have 2 licensed drone pilots who've passed the FAA Part 107 exam, which is a tremendous achievement, even for an adult. And so with those 2 students passing that exam within the first year, that has grown the drone program into we have 35 students now. So I really truly believe in the power of representation is everything. And once our kids saw 2 of their peers able to achieve that from the 10th grade, that has helped us more than any speech we could give or any promises we can make, just them seeing that it was possible by seeing that their peers were able to do it has worked wonders for us to grow the program to where it is now.
Now, is it right you actually have a simulator on campus?
Yes, we do. We have a flight simulator. It's made by Redbird, and it's one of the premier manufacturers in flight simulators. Even Bond College for Aeronautic Sciences has it. They use that to train their pilots who are actually training to become traditional pilots. So we use that as a supplement to our curriculum around drone technology. And we also have a partnership with drone cadets that comes in, and they do the weekly practicals with our drone pilots, where they do obstacle training exercises to get in their flight time. And through that, they've been earning additional credentials for different weight classes in drones. So we're growing exponentially, and we've been very bold in what we add to the curriculum to keep it exciting. And at this point, we've even added on robotics in terms of studying mechatronic engineering, where our students are currently building drones. Yeah, we added on a component around coding and programming to that. And our students are going to be putting on a drone light show during this year's symposium.
Oh, wow.
So we are very excited about that. And to be honest, we let the kids guide us in terms of what direction to go, because it was our students that asked for the business program. It was our students that asked to learn more about coding drones and repairing drones, which is why we added it to the curriculum. So kids, once they get their appetites wet with knowledge, and they get excited about what they're learning about, they become well invested into the curriculum, where they will make suggestions about what they want to learn. And I think that's why we've been so successful. And to top that, we already have for our information technology program, students who have been ranked as a silver tier team by the U.S. Air Force educational program for Cyber Patriots. And again, those students wanted to compete in that arena. So again, we are very student centric, and we're keeping our eyes open and our ears to the ground about the next thing, so we can continue to move forward with expanding our program.
One of the things that the next trend in terms of automotive that we have to implement, we did some rethinking, and in terms of staying on the cutting edge, we decided we're not going to do what they call motor cars, but we're going to do electrical cars. So we keep looking towards the future, and I'm using all of our best practices to make sure we provide the best for students in an ever-changing world.
So we only have a couple more minutes here, but do you have any advice for public schools that are seeking to replicate, your success with their own CTE programs? Maybe they don't have a CTE program now, or looking to start one, or they have one that they're looking to grow. Like, what can they learn from the experiences at the Academy?
I would think there has to be a commitment for change from the regular routine to doing things differently. Educating our students, the population we serve, they need the practical hands-on. Most of them do. And it's proven not only with the boys, but also with the girls. They're super excited as well. And if you can find their passion and commit to the investment and find the right staff, it can be done. What we're doing is not difficult to be reproduced. It takes passion, it takes a commitment, and a willingness just to continue with it. Get your board on board with it. Get the stakeholders tie and just be committed to the students' passion and change. It can't be the same thing. Our scholars, they have skills and passion, and you must explore it, not just in the traditional way.
Yeah, if I may add this, Bishop, in terms of startup, it can be real costly, and it's you have to be able to explain to your board that how you're going to use those resources, because if you're going to compare it to a traditional core content curriculum, it's significantly costlier, not in terms of both materials and staffing, because here you are now with a very unique model of staffing that's really more expensive than the traditional core subjects.
Don't cut corners. When they walk into the kitchen, it must look like a real professional environment. When they walk into a lab or the simulation room, it must look real and authentic. So you can't cut corners. You got to be committed to the cost, and it's going to pay off in the long run.
You truly have to have a true passion and to see the visionary's vision. When I first got here, I was so passionate to be in tandem with the vision because I too had the same vision, and I stayed committed to that vision. And I'm just super proud of the work that we have done and are going to continue to do.
One thing that I appreciate from a lot from the city, from us, one thing that is important with your vision as creating world-class competitive scholar, you invest also on looking for world-class professional to lead those people. I mean, that is very important in order for you to have success with those students. The team, your instructor, administrative, that, investing on those people to have world-class professional to educate, that is very important. To bring those knowledge that they have, those experience that they have, and infuse them on the student, that is very, very important. Evolution, that we go into evolution, like, the trend that is happening in the medical fields right now, when we have robotic arms doing surgery, if you don't have world-class professionals that know about that, how the student, you're going to prepare our future for tomorrow. Healthcare professional. That is something that is, I take proud of this school, that means on bringing world-class professional, to educate those students.
Just doing some tremendous work, and I want to thank you for coming on today, for sharing your expertises and your experiences. I really think you're going to help out a lot of schools, and you're obviously right now helping out all of your students. So thank you all very much.
And I will say thanks to the Institute for allowing the charter and allowing us to carry out this mission. Without their approval, we wouldn't be having this conversation. So thanks to the Institute for believing in us and giving us this opportunity.